Hey VC, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a long form video instead of a short one like I just did with the what's on the wall this week. This is my stack, my pickups from my trip to Vancouver at the end of July. That's how far behind I am, but let's not dwell on that. Let's just start going through what I got and where I got it and what you can get when you go to Vancouver. Starting out with a classic, Bad Company, first record on Swan Song. I got this at Red Cat Records. They have all variety of records, all variety of price points. This was in their cheapies bin. I think this was a $5 record. Um, they said basically because there was cover damage. Um, yeah, there's cover wear, but nothing massive, nothing terrible. And the record itself is in VG, close to VG plus condition. Not an easy one to find in good condition. Black covers, they're a pain. So I was more than happy to pick this up for $5. Um, and it sounds good. I don't know exactly which pressing it is. I haven't cataloged it yet. I haven't gotten to that point. I've cleaned them all. I've, play tested the majority of them. That one sounds great for $5, no problem. There's another $5 winner from Red Cat in Vancouver. This one was a little rough around the edges. There's actually a skip in here, which I didn't think there would be when I first looked at the vinyl. There's one small skip, but it was I think this was only a $3 record because of the condition. So cover's a little worn, the record's a little beat up. But it's another one that's really hard to find. That one was $3, so that'll fill in until then. Single skip. I'm not going to get hung up on that. These are in no particular order, so I have the higher end picks mixed in with other stuff. This next record was the first one I saw when I walked in and walked up to the bins. This was on the wall, and I was just like, okay, yep, there's some money gone already. I just walked in this place. Suicidal Tendencies. This is from '88. How Will I Laugh Tomorrow When I Can't Even Smile Today? I can't describe what it was like to hear this record for the first time when you're used to thinking that suicidal tendencies is, like institutionalized and kind of basic stuff like that. And then you hear the intro to Trip at the Brain, and it was amazing. I remember hearing that for the first time in a high school friend of mine's car. He said, "Have you heard the new Suicidal Tendencies record?" And I'm like, "Why would I hear that? It's like skate punk." He's like, "No, no, 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 no." And he put it on, and it was like, "Oh, this is perfect. This is a great record." And I still love this record. I love this whole record. This and Lights Camera Revolution, fantastic records. And this is in mint shape. Yes, it was $75. I don't care. I've never seen it before. I will probably not ever see it again unless it's on a wall somewhere for even more than that. So I had no problem with that. Next up, the Spinners. Little Philly soul kind of stuff. I haven't spun this one yet. Funny enough, I haven't spun the Spinners. Spinners 8. I'm assuming that means it's their 8th record. And it's not just a random number they picked. But I like the Spinners. Great voices, great instrumentation. And I think this was $4, so there's nothing wrong with it. Excuse me. This was another surprise. This was just in the bins at Red Cat. Some people are going to know this as soon as they see it and know what it means. This is not a Rolling Stones record. This is the Rolling Stones songbook, the Andrew Oldham Orchestra. What is significant about this is that the last time on this record was the sample for Bittersweet Symphony that the Verve got sued over because they used it without permission. But this whole record is actually pretty cool. It's some pretty cool orchestral renditions of Rolling Stones songs, but it's quite cool to hear the entirety of the last time, so to see where they picked the sample from. Um, and it was in great condition. It's obviously been a delete. It's got a punch hole in it. Um, the cover's perfect. The vinyl looks really good. It's actually a little bit noisy, but again, this is a record I've never seen before. So I saw it and I went, okay, I'll take it. This was $40, I think. Um, but yeah, worth it. I've played that one probably that one and Suicidal Tendencies. I've played quite a few times since I've gotten them. Uh, Another cheap one. This was a $3 record. Canned Heat on the road again. Um, I like Canned Heat. I like Blind Owl Wilson's guitar playing and his vocals, but his guitar playing was great. Um, and yeah, if you can get a Canned Heat record for $3, it's some pretty good dirty blues kind of stuff. And yeah, I just saw it and went, okay, add it to the pile. This one came from another place a little bit further east in Vancouver, a place called Groove Cat Books and Music. And it was just a really nice, clean copy of 5150, um, which I don't see a whole lot either. I had one before and sold it. This one was actually in better condition. The inner sleeve, everything is perfect and clean and pristine and doesn't look like it was played much. So I grabbed it. I might keep it. I might sell it. I'll probably play it a few times and then decide what I'm going to do with it. But it was, yeah, 28 bucks. Not terrible. These are all Canadian prices. So if you're in the United States, you can take it down by about a third. Um, Another one out of the cheap bins at Red Cat, Van Morrison, Tupelo Honey. Van Morrison looking kind of like Fabio on the cover of this one. Got a tank top on, got the long flowing hair going. It's kind of a weird one. But Van Morrison records in good condition are tough to come by. This one's a little rough. It's an original on the Green Warner label. Um, but I've played it. It sounds all right for the $3 to $5 that I paid for it. I can live with it until I can find a better copy somewhere. Um, yeah, Van Morrison has about 3,000 albums, and there's 100 copies of the ones you're not interested in, and no copies of the ones you really want. So I saw that one and thought, okay, I'll take it. This one, this one's a seller. If you see a Kiss record in decent shape, you buy it and you put it online and somebody will buy it. Because I'm not a Kiss fan. Anybody who knows me knows that. I get guilt for that, or, you know, friends of mine who really, really like this band for some unknown reason give me a lot of crap about that. But I understand there are a lot of Kiss fans out there. So when you see a decent copy of a Kiss record, you pick it up. And you can probably sell it and buy something you like a whole lot more. So this was, I think, $5. Decent cover. Vinyl's in very good shape. So that was an easy choice. The band, second album, the Brown album, my favorite band album. I have one or two copies of this already. This was another early pressing. These covers, just the way they were put together, they get beat up very easily. They get worn very easily. This one's all in one piece, but it does have some wear around the edges. The vinyl looks a little rough, but I've played this through and it sounds pretty good. Well, it's because the music's great, but there's not a whole lot of background noise on it, surprisingly. So I might just gift that to somebody. If I find somebody who's starting to collect and they need a copy of this, I'll just hand it out to them because it was another $3 to $5 record. Motorhead, No Sleep Till Hammersmith. This is pretty full on. It's Motorhead, so you know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be fast, and it's gonna be awesome. I don't see this record around very much. I got this at that same Red Cat Records, and it was $5 for whatever reason. I don't see what the problem was with this. There's a bit of wave in the covers, like it got damp, not wet, but damp. But the vinyl itself, for a Motorhead record, they're usually pretty thrashed, no pun intended. This one, I put it on, played it through, sounded great. Because once Lemmy cranks up his bass, you can't hear anything else. So, you don't really have to worry about pops and clicks in the background. So, yeah, it's a good one. Um, and I love that cover with the plane. It's just cool. Next up, a bit of a departure from that. Black Oak, Arkansas. Um, this is another band that I discovered from watching Dazed and Confused. Quite a few bands like Head East, Black Oak, Arkansas. There's a few others that I'd never heard of before I watched Dazed and Confused. But uh, yeah, this was part of the soundtrack on Dazed and Confused. Lord Have Mercy on My Soul, and um, there's a little piece at the beginning called The Halls of Karma. That's just a spoken word thing. It's very kind of spooky, kind of voodoo-y, a little bit hillbilly, but it's not bad. It's actually a better record than I thought it would be. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. It's in fantastic shape. There's nothing wrong with it at all, and it was $4, $3, $4. So I just thought, okay, that's worth the risk. I'll give it a try, and it was a pretty good record. I've listened to that a couple times. Not disappointing at all. Uh, Next up, Ozzy, Bark at the Moon. I had a copy when Ozzy passed. All the Ozzy stuff I had listed on Discogs sold, and then I went, I shouldn't have sold that. I should have kept it. So they had a nice clean copy at Red Cat. It was $40, and I thought, okay, before somebody snaps up everything that Ozzy ever did, I better grab it. And yeah, it's a nice clean copy. I've listened to that one once or twice already too. Um, Jake Ely on guitar on that one. So was that Jake? Yeah, no. Am I messing this up? Yeah, Jake's on guitar on this one. What am I thinking? Sorry, got confused there for a minute. Because I was thinking about the next record, which was this one. Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love. Yes, the cover is wailed on. And actually, the inside of the cover, it looks bad now. It looked a lot worse before I cleaned this all up because this looked like 3-week old loaf of bread kind of mold going on in here. But I actually just took a damp sponge and wiped it, and then left it to dry and wiped it again, and it's still got a little schmutz on there, but it's not bad. And the record itself is a Canadian first pressing tricolor reprise label. Um, it doesn't look terrible at all, and it sounds fantastic. So if you can get over the little bit of a moldy smell and a little bit of a moldy look, it's worth it. To me, it is anyway. Um, yeah, it's the cover is a little bit. It's barely holding together. It's got some edge splits already, but I'm sure I'll be able to get another cover for it at least somewhere along the line. Um, this is another one that I couldn't believe it was only $5. Mothers of Invention, Freak Out, double album on Verve, first Canadian pressing, $5. Again at Red Cat in their discount bin. And this is in surprisingly good shape. The cover is well worn, but the vinyl is pretty decent. Other than I've got a big thumbprint on there. I must have been in a hurry or something. I must have been getting sloppy. But yeah, both records, played them through. It's early Frank, so it's uh, not quite as experimental, I guess. In the beginning you gotta kind of prove yourself somehow. It's still a little avant-garde, but it's not as crazy as some of the later Frank stuff that some people have trouble appreciating, or just don't have the time to dedicate to listening to that. But I like it. That's one of my favorite Frank Zappa records. Um, and it was $5 for a double album first press, so I'm not going to complain. Next up, a little more Canadian content. The Oscar Peterson Trio, Night Train. This was like $4. No, this was $8. Sorry, this was $8. But it was a really nice, clean copy. Again, hey, Frank Zappa on Verve and Oscar Peterson on Verve. Figured that one out. Yeah, strange label mates. But this is the later Verve black stereophonic Canadian pressing. And yeah, it's Oscar Peterson. He's an amazing piano player. had a style like nobody else's. So I was very happy to get that. And I've seen copies of this record around for double or triple what I paid for it. Um, I love that cover too, just with the train inside the blue and purple box, black. This classic jazz album cover. Speaking of classic jazz, here's another one. This one was 30 or 40 bucks, but it's an early pressing, not a first, but it's a repress, not a reissue of It's Monk's Time. This one's pretty heavy modal stuff. It's maybe not the easiest to get into if you're kind of new to jazz, but yeah, Monk's got his own kind of groove that, yeah, it's unmistakable, and it's a good record. If you're into jazz, you know. If you're not into jazz, maybe get into something a little easier, a little gentler introduction to jazz. But that one, eventually, you'll want that record and love it. This one was another $3 winner. Stand, Flying Family Stone. Cover's a little rough. Lots of ring wear, lots of storage wear. The spine's a little cracked, but the vinyl itself is absolutely fine. It's got scuffs, it's got hairlines, but they're all very light, and you don't really hear them that much. Love the old pressings that can look like hell, but they sound great. The opposite is true now. It looks like a pristine copy, and you put it on, and it sounds like you're playing a pile of gravel or something. So this one, yep, $3, absolute bargain, and a great pressing, great sounding record. Glad I got it. Now this one is from Beach Street Records. That's where it came from. Fanny Hill. All female 70s rock band. That's basically the only description you need. They were rocking. They had good guitars. They had good rhythm section. They had good vocals. This one was, I think, $15. And you don't see it very much. It's a pretty desirable record, and it's a pretty damn good record. So yeah, I was happy to pick that one up. That was, again, this one's also a delete. It's got the punch hole in it, but that's the only flaw, the only problem with that record. Back to Red Cat again. Stylistics, You're Beautiful. Something interesting about this one, which I had to kind of play the record to figure it out. So it's a super clean copy, pretty much spotless. This is near mint. And side 2 says, You Are Beautiful. Side 1 says, Rock and Rollin' Baby. So, yeah, Rock and Roll Baby. So I had to put it on and figure out, okay, is this a label issue or is this a press issue? Well, it's just the label. They just got the wrong label on the A side. But the vinyl is mint, the cover is mint, and it's the Stylistics, and I just really like the Stylistics. And I wasn't that familiar with them until, I knew a few songs, but back catalog, didn't know much of anything. So added that one to the Stylistics catalog that I have. This was probably the coolest thing I got out of that discount bin at Red Cat Records. This is Neil Young. Everybody knows this is Nowhere. It's a non-textured sleeve, so it's a little bit later. I have the first press with a textured sleeve, but this one, I thought, okay, it's a decent copy. It's got a name in the corner, but the cover's really solid and it's clean. I pull it out, and it's got the original Time Warner inner sleeve, but it's also the white label promo. So this is obviously put into a different sleeve because the sleeve and the vinyl don't match up. But it's a white label promo. It's got a few marks on it, but in general, it's in pretty good shape. A few scuffs, a few hairlines. Now, somebody had actually put tape over here when it says promotional copy, not for sale, and they blacked it out with a marker. So I don't know whether they were thinking somebody was going to track them down and, you know, steal the record back because it was not for sale. I don't know what the thinking was there, but if you go online, people will talk about you know, the fidelity of this particular early press of this record. So that was $5. Again, at Red Cat in the cheap bin. And I'm not sure why. I guess because it had a few scratches on it. The cover was in great shape. Um, so, yeah, what the reasoning was behind that, discounting it, I don't know. I'm just happy I was the one who found it and pulled it out and went, oh, yeah, that's a white label promo. I'll take that. Next up, this was from Beat Street, I believe. Mandrill. Funk band. Anything funk, I pick it up. You know, if it's like $8 or $10 and it's a funk album. So, Mandrill, just outside of town. Very nice copy. Almost no marks on it. The cover is mint. Yeah, I like that 70s funk stuff. And if you're into hip hop, you're going to hear familiar sounds. Let's say that, because all the loops, all the hooks, all the samples came from either James Brown or 70s funk through most of the 80s and 90s hip hop, or not most of, but a good number of those records sampled that kind of stuff, because you know that's what they knew, that's what they heard. So you're gonna use what you know. Next up is this one, Matching Mole. Matching Mole may not be familiar to a lot of people. If you don't know Robert Wyatt, if you don't know the Soft Machine, this was Robert Wyatt kind of post, could have been coinciding. I mean, the guys from Soft Machine were kind of all over the place and playing with other people. But yeah, Matching Mole records, you just don't see them. This is a UK import, so it's the odd CBS label. Yeah, so the orange CBS label. It is super clean. It is a very, not a, I wouldn't call it, I guess it would be a difficult listen for some people because it's kind of experimental, and Robert Wyatt does some wild vocalizing sometimes. But when I saw it, I was pretty excited because I don't think I've ever seen a Matching Mole record anywhere. Any record shows, any record stores. You just don't see it around. So this one I did pay up for. Yes, that is the right price, $80. But I was very happy to have it. Now, I have to preface this next one. I have no idea what this record sounds like. I've never heard of this person. I haven't played it yet. I think I have to be in the right frame of mind before I throw this one on and give it a spin, because it's probably going to be a little bit outside of my personal taste. This was purely for the cover, because as soon as I saw it, I thought, is this a young Christopher Walken? Because that's what this guy looks like to me. I have no idea what this sounds like. He is a German performer, but yeah, I just looked at it and went, I don't care. It's $3. I'm buying that thing because that is like the wildest cover I've ever seen. So yeah, it looks like a young Christopher Walken with a turtleneck and a leather jacket playing a nylon string classical guitar. Yeah, I know. I know about in Mexico. So, yeah, I don't know much about this guy. There's the back cover looking like a pretty swinging 60s dude. I haven't played it yet. I looked up a little bit of information about who this guy was, and yeah, he was, in the 60s and probably into the 70s in Germany, quite popular, I guess. But yeah, it was just that cover. It kind of scared me when I first saw it. I was like, what is that? But yeah, I had to pick this one up for the $3. When I do listen to it, when I have given it a spin, I will let you know what I think of it. I will let you know how bad it is. or it could be a total surprise. I don't know. I shouldn't be negative like that. Next one, Keith Jarrett, double album. A little bit of water damage along here, but the records are in mint condition, and it was $5. So Keith Jarrett, Spirits. Um, Keith Jarrett is jazz, and maybe again not the easiest. It wouldn't be the first jazz record I would recommend to someone who says, what should I listen to when I want to get into jazz? Maybe not Keith Jarrett. But I'm not speaking ill of Keith Jarrett at all. I wouldn't do that. I love the Keith Jarrett stuff, but it did take me a while to appreciate what he does. But it's, yeah, the records themselves, it's on ECM, a pretty well-known avant-garde jazzy kind of label, and it is like perfect, 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 perfect. So yeah, I don't care if there's a water stain on the cover because it is so pretty on the inside. I want to talk about inner beauty. This thing, just perfect. Both records, spotless. So I can live with the water stains on the front. Next up, another one from Red Cat. Adding to my Steely Dan collection. Sometimes you see a decent copy of a Steely Dan record, and it's like, oh, that'll be $65. This one was like 16, and it was one I didn't have. It's in excellent shape, and yeah, it's just one that I needed. Cover's perfect. The vinyl is super, super, super clean. Like it's even still shiny. Look at that. Nobody's been resting their drinks on there or dropping cigarette ashes on it or anything. It is on the blue MCA label, so it is a later press, but it's super clean. It's yeah. So if you saw that at a regular record show, it would be $25, Canadian. That is. I don't know about a record show in the United States. Maybe not that much, but record shows are notorious for kind of bumping up prices a little bit. You got to pay for the gas to haul all that stuff there. So, yeah, that was another pleasant surprise for a good price. Super clean record, so I bought that. Another one that came from Red Cat. This was $12, I think. Great. It's Tom Petty. Everybody loves Tom Petty, and if they don't, they should. That's just an opinion, of course, but I think everyone I know has a few Tom Petty songs that they really, really like. Even The Losers is probably my favorite song on this album, but Refugee's on here. Here Comes My Girl is on here. Yeah, it's a great record, and it was in super clean shape, and the cover's good. It's got a little ring wear, but nothing big. So happy to have that because good, clean Tom Petty for a good price, not easy to find. Last one from the Vancouver trip. This was another one that was in the bargain bin at Red Cat. This was $4. I don't know. I mean, it's got a bottom split. If you got a glue stick, you can fix that. All you need, glue stick, put a little bit of weight on it, good as gold. T-Rex the slider. Great early glam pop cool stuff. This one looks pretty rough, sounds way better than it looks. Like it's got a name on it. The spindle hole's a little worn out. The labels have a little bit of wear to them, but I ran it through the cleaner a couple of times. It still looked a little rough. I put it on and played through with no issues at all. Still sounds great. So yeah, that was the Vancouver haul. The majority from Red Cat. I spent hours in there going through pretty much every bin they had. There was other stuff there I was tempted to buy, but you're only allowed so much weight in your luggage. I was already over by, I think, like 3 or 4, maybe 5 kilograms, so I had to pay an extra 25, I think $25, $30 just to get my suitcase back home because I had, overdone it with records, which I was pretty much knew I was going to end up doing. So, Yeah, so that is the end of the Vancouver haul. I still have, yeah, the Marketplace haul, the Stratford Record Show haul, stuff I've been buying locally, another antique market, and another little story about one of the ones I picked up there. So there will be more coming very soon. I might even do another one right now, right after this. How about that? Yeah, just like rapid fire now. I've been away from it so long. Once I get on a roll now, I should just keep making them so I don't procrastinate anymore. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got any comments about any of the things I've found, about the prices, about any of that stuff. Um, yeah, it was a very satisfying trip as far as being in Vancouver is very nice, and being in Vancouver where there's some great record stores is also very nice. I didn't end up hitting all the record stores I wanted to because there just was not enough time, not enough hours in the day. So the next time I go, I will check out some other ones, and I will definitely go back to Red Cat Records because I had such good luck there. Okay, so there will be another video coming up very, very soon, and I will see you all the next time around. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Hey folks, just a couple more things before I go. After I finished the video, I started thinking about a couple things. When I said the spinners were like Philly soul, and I started thinking, I'm not really sure the spinners are from Philadelphia. So I had to go look it up. I had to check myself. And the Spinners are actually from Detroit. They were actually called the Detroit Spinners in the beginning. I guess I just, for whatever reason, I thought the Spinners were Philly sound because they had that Philly soul kind of vibe to them. But Spinners actually from Detroit, so I had to clear that up. Another thing, when I was talking about it's Monk's Time and I said it's modal, it's actually more hard bop, but the first track on that record to me sounds very modal. If you're aware of what modal jazz is, it's just kind of repeating a loop and a lot of soloing or working off of a certain repeated section or phrase. And the first track always had me thinking that. So when that's the first thing you hear when you put that record on, maybe it would be a little bit tougher for a non-jazz fan to put that on and go, oh yeah, I could dig this. So yeah, that was just a little bit about that. And the last thing I wanted to clear up was Matching Mole. When I was talking about Matching Mole and Robert Wyatt, Robert Wyatt started Matching Mole after he had left Soft Machine. I think they did a total of 3 records. I could be wrong on that. And I'm assuming they would have done more, but in '73, I believe it was, Robert Wyatt had his accident where he fell out a window and had severe spinal damage, so that kind of ended his drumming. He still kept writing, but stopped performing at that point. Um, so I just wanted to clear those things up before anybody else decided to come on and go, oh, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, he's wrong. Yeah, I went back and checked myself on all those things, and yeah, made sure I was giving true information. And again, every time I'm on, I forget to do the, oh, comment, like, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever you have to do to improve the page. Um, I'm not really crazy about that, but I guess I'm supposed to say it to kind of increase viewership and get it out to more people and maybe have more people comment and just widen the vinyl community on YouTube. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all the next time around. Bye bye.